Hello, I'm Rick Bayshard, and thank you for visiting my channel. Today I would like to discuss with you the Course in Miracles teachings regarding the concept of form and content. And this is really important because when we understand what the Course is saying regarding the concept of form versus content, we'll have a better idea about how we can manage our feelings in this world and how we can be so quickly mistaken about what our eyes see. Now, if you've reviewed the Course in Miracles, or you're a student, or you've watched a couple of these videos, one of the things you've learned, or is that the world of time and space isn't real, and that, of course, includes everything that has any matter in this world: our bodies, the mountains, the oceans. Yes, our experience is that these things are real, but again, we're using the body, which is the worst thing in the world, to tell you what reality is, because the body's going to misinterpret that. And just ask any quantum physicist, they're going to tell you that reality isn't what we think. But going back to the idea of form versus content, it's important to try to get a handle on remembering why that form and content are important to understand, because we often use form to tell us what's true or what things mean. The Course reminds us that there's nothing more blinding than the perception of form. And what that means is that, when you look at somebody's body or somebody's behavior, your perception of that, which is really another word of your interpretation of that, can be so incorrect, because if you're viewing and interpreting what your eyes see with the ego as your teacher, then you're very likely going to misinterpret what your eyes see. And even though the behavior of somebody or the form that we're looking at might seem on one level to be kind or even mean, we could be wrong about that, because we cannot get into somebody else's mind or understand necessarily what teacher they've identified with. What's important is that we identify with the right teacher within. We can never judge. And I've often used the example that, if you watch somebody holding the door open for someone as they walk in, your interpretation of that is naturally that person's being kind. But again, that person could be opening the door for somebody simply because they want to look good. They want to feel good about themselves. So the form seems loving, seems kind, but the content of that person, who at the time could be very egocentric, isn't really kind at all. They're just trying to do something so they can feel good about themselves. And that is why it is important to remember that, because there's another line from the Course in Miracles which speaks about forgiveness to destroy. And what they're basically saying with that is, we want to be consistent with what our mind does and with respect to our behavior. So again, we want to constantly pay attention to what teacher we are operating with in this world. And if we happen to be identifying with the ego, at least we'll be aware of that, and we won't fool ourselves thinking, look how good I am. The people who goes to the soup kitchen every Sunday, and always doing good, we can't be sure of their reasons. We can only know our own. And so we want to not let the form of somebody's behavior or whatever it might be necessarily tell us what's true, because we don't know what's going on with them. We only know ourselves. And if somebody is attacking us, our experience of that is going to be uncomfortable. We might feel insulted. We might feel unjustly treated. And that's the form. But we have the ability to understand that the content of why they are attacking us, based on the Course's teachings, is that they're calling for love. Their attack of us on so many levels is because maybe if they put us down, they feel better about themselves, or they've justified thinking that we are less based on our skin color or our religion or whatever it might be, our nationality. And these people judge us, because on one level they are so uncomfortable with who they are or who they think they are. And the only way these people can feel good about themselves is to put somebody else down. And so that is the form, but the content, the ultimate content of that person doing that isn't necessarily because they're inherently mean. It's because they're horrified. They don't know how to feel good about themselves. And so if we get that, we can separate the form of their behavior to the underlying content, which is they are asking for love. And so that is a theme we want to carry on with us throughout our lives. I mean, some of the form that we're going to come across is very disturbing. I mean, somebody dies. And at this level, well, the body has laid down. But if we're going to be consistent with the teachings of the metaphysics, you know, I recognize that we're more than our bodies. In fact, we're not our bodies at all. And that may not be our experience. And we still will cry when people leave us, because we can't deny that we still think this is who we are in form. But it's the proper perception, it's the forgiveness of separating the form of what our eyes see versus how we interpret that, which will help us along the road of letting go our belief in the ego's thought system that this is who we are, and that when somebody attacks me, they are inherently bad, or look how good I am because of all I have done. Now again, you might do a lot in this world, and you may help people. And you know, you just want to pay attention that you're doing that without need, that because you're looking for the compliments, or look how important I am. You're not trying to act kind, you want to be kindness. And if you are, then you're just going to do things. There's not going to be any alternative or ulterior underlying ego motive. It's just what kindness would do. But again, kindness might actually mean, in some situations where you're a boss and you have to terminate somebody because of their job quality isn't just meeting the standard of the company you work with. That's the form. But how you feel about that, you know, you're not going to judge them as less. Now, they may not understand that at all, but if you get that, then your behavior to them, which is form, won't come across as punitive. You know, it'll be an attitude of, this is what we do here. And whether they seemingly accept that or not doesn't really matter. I mean, that'll be a gift of love you give to them on levels that will wait for them going forward in their life. It's always about us. It's always about us keeping ourselves in check about how the world is designed and made by the ego to keep us stuck. And again, one of those fundamental ways of doing that is the perception of form. And so we want to pay attention to the content, especially our own, because we just can't judge somebody else. And don't be blinded by the world outside of you. You know, be a human, be in this world, but not of it. But always remember that you can't be sure of the teacher somebody else is identifying with. And if they're identifying with the ego, and that may be your educated guess, that's their journey. We cannot, and we don't want to dismiss the power of their mind to choose the ego or not. This is their journey. It's all about us in this case. And so therefore, we want to, again, pay attention to form and content and not let the form blind us to the underlying call for love or the experience of love. And I think that is something that we want to keep in mind, because I know myself, I'm always caught up in form. And I will have emotional reactions to form. And it's not about not having those reactions from the psychological point of view, and is what we do here. It's about just paying attention to how I feel and how the form can trick me. And because in the end, you know, there's only good two things here in this world that we all have to choose, and which is to identify with the thought system of the ego or the thought system of love. And that's our decision, our choice. I could be aggravated by the cat right now, but you know, it's okay. And the form of this doesn't have to have any power other than the cat is on the table. But anyway, thank you for watching this video today. I appreciate your visiting my channel. If it was helpful in any way, please feel free to hit a like and subscribe if you wish. And I will see you at the next video. Thank you very much. Say goodbye, Arnold. Goodbye.